Shalom, fam. Shalom, shalom. I wanted to do something a little different this week. Just on Sabbath, I had a few thoughts and I wanted to share them with you. I have it written down. Instead of taking your Bible out, you can if you want to. If you guys want to share anything, share any scriptures or anything in the comments to just to encourage one another, please do. But yeah, today's a little bit different. I did say that it would be, just thoughts, reflections. So I wanted to share this one. And hopefully this will help two types of people. So I was thinking yesterday about Bible reading and so I want to share a story. It's not really a long story, but a story and also my testimony. So let's see which one we'll go. Okay, so I'll talk about me. I am the type of person that I don't read my Bible every day. Sometimes I'll even go maybe 1.5 to 2 weeks without reading my Bible. And that probably sounds like a shock, like, what? What kind of Christian or what kind of believer or what kind of, disciple are you? You don't even pick up your Bible for, and there's a reason for that. The reason is because I kind of see it like, for me, again, this is for me, like food, where you don't just keep, gorging yourself with food. You need to let it digest, right? Like the point for me, again, I want to make sure I say for me, the point for me isn't to read, every day, if you're not even applying the word, you got to digest it, right? You got to not just be a hearer of the word, but you have to be a doer of the word. So that is why that's what I do. You know what I mean? And for a long time, I would feel really kind of bad about that because I feel like, I'd feel like I'd have to always read my Bible, even though if you asked me what I read, I wouldn't remember, you know what I mean? I might remember what I read like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago because it's sticking with me because maybe I'm dealing with something or learning how to do something or been convicted of something. But that daily reading all the time, just for me, again, like I said, it doesn't work for me. And I used to feel really, really bad about it. And I used to feel really bad about it. And I don't anymore because I realize the type of person, like I said, that I am. I just gave you the reasons why I don't read my Bible every day. For me, it's not necessary. Now, let me just share a story so you're not like, what? There's a girl that I knew that was very disciplined in having quiet time and reading her Bible every day. I only knew her for a little while. I'm not going to share because I don't want her to come on here and feel like I'm defaming because this is not what this is. Basically just being disciplined to read her Bible, every day. But I noticed, and we had just started becoming, I guess getting to know each other. I can't say friends, but getting to know each other and really liked each other. But I was kind of, watching the fruit, watching her life. And I was just really confused. So it took about maybe 9 or 10 months into the getting to know each other. I guess you can call it a relationship. I asked her one day, do you ever, I didn't say it this way, I'm just saying it to you kind of quickly, but do you ever remember anything that you've read when you do your quiet times or, when you read your Bible? Do you remember anything? And she was like, no, not really. And that really struck me like, oh, you're reading your Bible every day. And I'm seeing, I'm just making sure like I'm not going crazy because I'm like, man, this is weird the way that she kind of is, as I'm spending, and we spent a lot of time together too, spending a lot of time with her. And I'm just confused, like her thoughts and her actions. I just was confused, but it just showed me that you you don't necessarily, again, depending on who you are, I want to be careful with my words because this is not for everybody. Some people need to have the Bible reading every single day so that their mind is renewed, their mind is refreshed, their mind, like it just keeps it kind of like that splash of water on your face. You need it so that you wake up, or for some people who drink coffee, you need it. So that's a good thing. I'm not knocking that. But I want to make sure that in your, if you're that person that you are being disciplined in your Bible reading, or you're like me who I can say I'm disciplined in not reading it every day because I realize what that does for me, and what that doesn't do for me. First of all, I want to say that there's a quote, I won't say who it's from, but a pastor who said, reading your Bible every day will keep you within earshot of God. And I agree with that. I think that's awesome. But again, for me, it just doesn't work because I want to digest. I want to be a doer of the word. So I want to talk about if you're like me, where you don't read it every day, or if you're a disciplined person that reads every day, that the question in your mind, or even if you're going out and you're asking people, I'm looking over here because I'm looking at my notes, wouldn't be, are you reading your Bible every day? Because as you know, with the story that I just told you, that clearly didn't mean anything, you know what I mean? But the question would be, are you actively fighting sin? Are you actively fighting sin? Because if you're reading your Bible every single day, you are disciplined, I won't even say praying, I'm talking about reading your Bible, and you're just letting anything happen, then something's wrong, with that. But if you're someone like me, like I said, this week, I think it was almost 2 weeks, but there was something that I was not going through, because when you say going through, it always sounds like something bad, and it wasn't like that. Just meditating on, like continuing to meditate on some not issue, something in my life, and I needed to actively make sure that my brain wasn't going in a certain direction, and I needed to submit my thoughts to Christ, like submit my thoughts to the obedience of Christ. I needed to submit those thoughts, and I was actively doing that because I knew that like I'm a logical thinker, so generally I can throw away, for the most part, emotion and think, like, if this person hurt me, well, there's a reason why, even though the hurting, could be, is a wrong thing. I can genuinely kind of like let things go. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Maybe I tend to do that a little too much, but anyway, so I tend to be like that, like logical. So I think that I'm trying to just make sure this isn't super long and make sure I'm getting to the point so you guys get there. I told you, this is real raw, me just sharing my reflections on, on things, no editing, nothing like that. You're just getting the real raw deal. Anyway, so what was I even saying? I forgot. But are you actively fighting sin? Are you actively fighting your sin? When you're reading your Bible every day, is it just going in one ear and out the other? Or are you taking in what you're reading and fighting sin, actively fighting sin? And when you're not reading your Bible, like me, are you actively fighting sin? Because that's what we need to be focused on, not necessarily whether you're reading it every day or you're reading it every... Now, I wouldn't say, go a month. To me, that, that's not going to happen. But maybe 2 weeks, maybe even 2.5, but not a month. I'm not going to do that because I'm like, Satan is real crafty, and I want to make sure that I'm in the word. But sometimes it takes me a little while to just digest, to make sure that I'm not just reading and then, living like a crazy person. I want to be a disciple, so it takes practice. So you need to be practicing righteousness. You need to be practicing not wickedness, So I want to talk to two people, and I want to just make sure that the person who's reading their Bible, take the time and make sure that while you're reading, you are being a doer of the word. You're not just reading and you know, checked it off for today. I read my devotional. I read the word. I'm good to go. And then you're living like, you know, a life of sin. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't even know because you're just reading. You're not looking and studying and making sure, okay, this is how I am to please the Lord and this is how I am to do these things. So make sure if you are a person, I'm holding my Bible, make sure if you are a person who reads your Bible every day, I think that's awesome. You know, if that's something that you need to do, and but don't be prideful about it just because, you know, you get up at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning and you're, you know, reading your Bible, or, you know, don't be prideful about it. Do what you need to do because we need the word. It just depends on how you're doing it. Like I said, you can be reading it every day or you can be doing it the way that I do it. So make sure that you're actively fighting sin as you're reading and studying the word. You're not just being a hearer, but you're being a doer. And for the person that's like me, do not feel, because for many years I felt very bad about not reading my Bible every day. Don't feel bad about that because the Lord has created us all differently and we don't have to be put in one mold on how we worship him. You know what I mean? There are tools like singing. A lot of people probably don't even really sing a lot because their faces, you know, and again, I'm talking about the persons whose faces in the Bible who are just being hearers of the word. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, so if you're like me, don't feel shame for reading your Bible every other week or every 2 weeks or something like that. Like I said, I would say don't go a month without it. I don't think that that's wise. But if you're like me, do not feel shame, because if you are not reading your Bible and you are just practicing sin, something is wrong. But if you're not reading your Bible like me, every 2 weeks, let's just say, but it's in your brain, the scriptures are in your mind, and you're actively every day making sure that the situations that you're in, you're actively fighting sin. You're actively making sure that you're not saying what you shouldn't be saying to that person or thinking the way, you know, that you want to think about that person. You're submitting those thoughts to what Christ has told us to do. You know what I mean? So I wanted to encourage and admonish, because like I said, the person who reads their Bible every day, like I said, gets up at 3, 4 in the morning, might feel a little bit, you know, high and mighty. And it's like, you know, we want to just make sure that while you're doing that, you are actively fighting sin. It's not just about the goal isn't I read my Bible, or the goal isn't I had quiet time. The goal is read it, and are you actively fighting sin? You know what I mean? And I also don't want to make it so that you're lazy, like, oh, she said she does it, so I could not do. No, you need to make sure that even though you're not picking up the book is in here, and every single moment of your life, you are fighting sin. You are aware, you are sober-minded, as we had covered in a couple of, actually probably most of the videos, but just being sober-minded, making sure you're sober. You see your day and you're active about how you're gonna approach any situation out there. So anyway, I didn't want to make this too long. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything, put them down below. Like I said, just like, comment, and subscribe, because I do want to make sure that this gets out. But this isn't for 100 million followers. This is for the people that need these things. These are for the people that want to grow. These are for the people that want to be disciples. I want to make sure that the algorithm puts it out there, and for the people that need it, they get it. So that is why I ask you guys to, like I said, like, share, subscribe, even put the notification bell on, so that, like I said, the algorithm does what it needs to do to get out there. I'm not looking for, like I said, 1 million followers. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the people that are like me, that are looking for things like this, just straight up reflections or the word, and just, we're just digging in and encouraging each other to make sure that we are following the Most High. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. I think that was it. I think you guys got the point of what I was trying to say. So do not feel, if you're like me, do not feel embarrassed. Do not feel condemned. Be encouraged that, I may not be doing that, reading the word, but I am actively fighting sin. And if you are reading your Bible every day, that's awesome. Make sure that you are not just reading. That's not the goal, but you are actively fighting sin as you're reading. Okay, guys, that's all I have for you all today, family. Shalom, shalom.